I have this theory about Steven Spielberg.
I want to hear it.
That I hold dear, and I really want it to be true. Okay, we got this guy who's the most, prevalent movie director of our time.
Beside Darren Bousman in 11-11-11.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Close second.
Yeah.
But, we have Spielberg, who's made like the most iconic movies in regards to especially extraterrestrials. He even put out that Encounters show that I guess he produced or something.
War of the Worlds.
Yeah, War of the Worlds, E.T., Close Encounters.
Got a new one coming out.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Disclosure. So that's where I'm getting to. What if Steven Spielberg was tasked with disclosure? So get this. From early on, Steven Spielberg doesn't give a lot of interviews, by the way, about this stuff. And when he does, he's pretty standoffish. And he's like, yeah, I'd love to see one day. Never saw one. And he's but he doesn't really lean into it at all. And he's hard to like pin down.
Yeah.
What if he was told early on, like, hey, man, you're going to be the soft drip. All right. We're going to give you all these amazing $1 million contracts, and you're going to slowly start putting together these narratives of these beings being benevolent, like E.T., these narratives like this, like that's exchange program, like Serpo, like all of these little narratives over time. The payoff, we're going to let you use an actual UFO in a movie eventually. But you got to shut up about it. All right. So, come 2025, we hear about this movie that he's directing called The Dish, right? Which is like a flying saucer thing. We're like, oh, cool, The Dish, right? Then it gets changed into Disclosure.
It is the actual disclosure, is what you're thinking.
What if you're in theaters watching this and you get one of those, just like I saw when I watched Fire in the Sky, this movie is based on a true story. What if you get this movie features an actual UFO? And even the actors don't know that they're inside one. They think it's a prop or it's just footage, whatever. But Americans get disclosure while eating popcorn, while simultaneously the biggest box office hit of all time.
I do believe that if this is all real, which I believe it is, that there is NHI and there's all of this, it has been ingrained in it since childhood, since birth. E.T. was probably the first one of those movies that I can remember. It was an event movie for me. And then I remember seeing, all of these other alien films where they are portrayed every number of ways, good, bad, nefarious, helpful. And then I'm watching the Skinwalker Ranch show every week. And it's just like more and more things are connecting. And it's going to make that ontological shock, I think, easier for everyone to take because it's been there since birth. It's been there since, if you ask my 5-year-old daughter what this image is, she would say, that's a gray alien. How does my 5-year-old daughter, I don't put that around her. I'm not showing her alien pictures, but it is ingrained in the cartoons she watches. And I think that, I buy that theory 100%.
Because I think about my reaction, I wouldn't be mad.
No.
I'd be like, great move, America. That's sick. And just to corroborate this little thing a little bit with some anecdotal evidence, when he changed it to Disclosure, Anna Paulina Luna, the congresswoman, and I think Burleson, both retweeted him saying, things are about to get interesting. They both retweeted that. Dude.
I mean, he would be, I think what's great about him doing it, so we're just going to go on this for a minute. It's him.
Okay.
He is revered, he is iconic, and he is beloved. And I think that it's not like you have, some hack guy that made 11-11-11 doing it, or, some subversive filmmakers. He's beloved.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would make a lot of sense.
The other side of this coin, which is probably the reality that we're living in. Good luck Googling Disclosure 2026.
Yeah, it's just going to get Spielberg. You're not going to get the,
It's the same thing that happened to Men in Black.
The movie.
Yeah. Good luck Googling Men in Black and not seeing Will Smith's face.
I do have to think, though. I mean, do you watch the Skinwalker documentary or the TV series?
I stopped, but I was pretty caught up with it.
I do look at things like that, which again is entertainment. I get it. It's completely entertainment. But there's so much that they are now doing. It's ramping up that if I would wonder if it was real, why isn't it being shut down? If it's not real, why you have to be caught up on it, but it's crazy how quickly it's mirroring what you're hearing in the congressional oversight committees, how quickly it is. And so what if it is this multifaceted thing where all of these people are doing it, from music to TV to movies? I would completely buy that. That would be the way to, I think, walk people through this, handhold them through it.
And what if it isn't humans that are controlling that? What if it's actually the NHI? You know, there's this story. We talked about L. Ron Hubbard before.
Yeah.
You watched that episode with Danny Sheehan?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So what Danny says that he was offered a job, you know, representing L. Ron Hubbard. And he said, I want to see the 3 most classified files that you guys have. And 2 of them revolved around remote viewing. One of them, namely, was Pat Price, where he put on this helmet in Southern Ontario and controlled an entire town to file their taxes all simultaneously into this little mail spot, like in the town or whatever. Like 70% of the people did that. So it was an experiment to show kind of like, oh, you can use this psychic ability to control minds, right? I don't know whether that's true or not, but that was the file apparently that Danny Sheehan was shown. Now, if we can do that, what can they do, right? And you hear about stories where people just, I was flushed with, I felt so good in its presence and I wanted to go along and my memory was gone.
Barber said that when his thing with the egg,
yeah.
right? That he just felt this overwhelming sense of peace and blah, blah, blah.
That was with the 8 Gone thing. That he got.
Yeah.
But you know who else said that? Dan Burrish. He said when you looked into the eyes of the J-Rod, the alien that he was tasked at taking these biological samples from, when you looked into its eyes, he said you would fall into its eyes. And when that happened, they were trained not to fall into its eyes, by the way. He had briefing prior explaining, careful, because what happens after that is they start flooding you with endorphins to make you feel good. And so you have to fight that. So he said when the J-Rod started realizing that he was resisting to this flooding of endorphins, the J-Rod would let go. But he said the consequence of that was being terrified in the presence of this thing.
Yeah.
And he said that's what they do. He said the rogue ones, that's what they do when they abduct you in your bedroom at night. They flood you with endorphins so that you feel like it's this benevolent angel. And you forget that it's, you know, so man, I was like, whoa, it's so dark and twisted and wild. But if you can do that, you can do a lot more.
It's fascinating, and I keep finding connections that you know, it's just like you see that classic meme of like someone has a bulletin boards with a million strings everywhere. That's me in my head right now with everything, because like I recently got a script about the Book of Enoch, and you know, reconceptualizing that book, which is literally about the angels that fell to earth, the Watchers, as aliens. Reconceptualizing all that, there's so many connections. And when you look at mistranslations of words that we thought meant one thing actually meant something else, all of these dots just begin to connect. And it feels like it's this endless black hole that we're never going to get an answer. And I hope it is Spielberg in 2026 with this movie.
You're on board with my conspiracy theory now.
I want that. I want that to happen.
Same here.